Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something that trips up, well, pretty much everyone, from startup founders to anyone just trying to build a new habit. It's this dangerous obsession we have with speed over substance.
You know the feeling, right? That constant pressure to go faster, to get results right now. In your career, at the gym, with your side hustle, the message is always sprint to the finish line. But what if that sprint is actually leading us straight off a cliff? Just look at this number for a second. $21 billion. That's the amount of value that just vanished from the edtech giant Byju's. Their valuation totally collapsed by 95%, plummeting from a peak of $22 billion all the way down to just one. So how does that even happen? Well, they went on an all-out sprint for growth. I'm talking debt-fueled acquisitions, aggressive marketing. They focused only on speed. But the foundation, the actual mechanics of building a solid, sustainable business, that was totally ignored. It is the perfect and frankly painful example of sprinting straight off that cliff.
Okay, so how do we avoid a crash and burn like that? The answer, funny enough, lies in completely reversing the order of how we think about this stuff. There's a super simple three-step formula for building anything that lasts, whether it's a company, a skill, or a new habit. First, you master the mechanics. Then, you build consistency. And only then, only after those two are locked in, do you add intensity.
Now, this isn't just some abstract business theory I pulled out of a textbook. This framework comes directly from the CrossFit Level 1 training guide. Yeah, a system designed to build elite-level human performance safely and effectively. It's a battle-tested principle for getting incredible results without completely breaking down. And when you think about it, the logic is brilliant. Mechanics is all about learning the correct way to do something. You're mastering the technique. Consistency is just doing that right thing over and over and over again until it's basically second nature. And only once you've absolutely nailed those two do you earn the right to add intensity. That's the speed, the weight, the full-on sprint.
This whole thing applies on a personal level too. I mean, think about trying to build a running habit. You wouldn't just wake up one day and try to run a marathon, right? Of course not. First, you'd master the mechanics, get the right shoes, learn the proper form to avoid injury. Then, you'd build consistency by just showing up every day, even if it's just for a 10-minute walk. Only after that foundation is rock solid do you start adding the intensity, like picking up your speed or going for longer distances.
And guess what? It's the exact same logic in the world of elite athletics. Check out how the Lone Star Aquatic Club trains its swimmers. They don't just toss them in the pool and scream, "Swim faster." No way. They start with the general phase to build the base. That's their mechanics. Then comes the preparatory phase to consistently build up strength. The final specific phase, where they sharpen that explosive power, that's the intensity, and it's something they earned through all that foundational work. Let's bring this back to business strategy because the parallel is uncanny. On the left side, you've got growth that's built on solid mechanics. Think about a product like WhatsApp, where sharing and inviting friends is baked right into the product itself. That creates a consistent, self-reinforcing loop that just keeps growing. But on the right, you have pure intensity, just throwing money at a problem, like paying for new users. The second you stop paying, that growth just vanishes. Why? Because there is no underlying mechanic to sustain it. Here's what that looks like in a real business portfolio. You've got a new venture, let's call it a question mark. Its mechanics are still unproven, so what do? You have to invest consistently to figure out what works. If you get that part right, if you nail the mechanics and build consistency, it has the chance to become a star, a high-growth market leader. And that's when you hit the gas. That's when you apply the intensity and invest heavily to win. See? You earn your star. The lesson from every single one of these examples, from the fall of Byju's to elite swimming, is exactly the same. Rushing to intensity as a recipe for disaster. Intensity isn't the starting point, it's the reward. This whole model, this entire idea, it really hinges on one single thing, just starting. And there's a really powerful way to think about this called a first notice day. It's not about being perfect on day one, far from it. It's just about marking the moment you consciously decide to begin, the day you start building that foundation by focusing on the mechanics. So forget the sprint for a second. Seriously. Just think about the very first small, correct step you can take. What's the foundational skill, the tiny habit, the core business process that you're going to master first? You're ready to build something that lasts. The only question is, what's your first notice day?